What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here with another review, doing Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing in Human Torch number 3. If you're not reading this series, you should be. I firmly believe, and this is just me speculating, but I firmly believe that this is going to kind of herald in the return of the Fantastic Four. Either herald it in, or confirm that it'll never ever happen. Ever again. But yeah, so basically as a catch-up, the Thing was left a device that that pretty much confirmed that there is no Reed Richards or Sue Storm anywhere in the multiverse, but that Reed wants them to continue to adventure on, kind of do what the Fantastic Four originally do, even if it is just Ben and Johnny, that he wants them to continue exploring and having adventures, which is kind of a cool concept. So he left them the multisect, which would allow them to travel into other universes and explore. Ben, unfortunately, had to lie to Johnny because Johnny's in a little bit of a bad place. He lied to him, pretty much saying that Reed and Sue were just stuck in another universe, and they were going to use the multisect to find them and bring them back. Also, at the same time, Johnny has been losing his power. He doesn't know why, and it just suddenly has been happening. That is dealt with in this issue. I like the explanation. But yeah, let's kind of get into it. So we get the catch-up page. I kind of like it. Again, it's a lot better than Chip's other book, which is, again, I know the editor or the editor assistant takes care of this, but I like a good, clean page. Just give me a little blurb. That's all I need. I don't like the cute stuff. So we start off with the Thinker, and he has this like beautiful mind board of where is Reed Richards, because to the Marvel Universe, Reed and Sue just disappeared after Secret Wars. And I think we're going to get a lot of answers in this that have been, like, again, years in the making. And it's funny, if you look on his board, I kind of look, you get the Maker connection, because the ultimate version of Reed Richards ultimately became the Maker, which was a villain. And I didn't notice this until kind of going through this a second time. This is Conduit over here, which is a little important. The art, they switched artists. Jim Chung isn't doing this one, which his art in the previous two were like amazing. But the art in here is passable, and it fits kind of the lighter tone of this issue. The first two issues were a little heavier, a lot more serious. This one, it's still serious, but there definitely is a lighter tone, and I kind of like that. You can't be serious all the time. You got to have a break. So we get Doom confronting the Thinker, because the Thinker is, again, kind of on this Reed Richards kick, and Doom is like, what are you up to? And that's it. You kind of just, they kind of Tarantino it a little bit, and then flip back to Ben and Johnny. And this is probably where you notice the art change the most. The one thing I dislike is like Johnny Storm's face, and this, like, I don't know if you can see it, but like this little chin scruff he's got going on, like he's some like adolescent who hasn't learned how to shave yet. So they now have the multisect, which would allow them to travel to any universe they want. And Johnny's kind of like, hey, let's go. But Ben is more concerned about Johnny and his powers. So they're going to meet with somebody to figure that out. And that person, of course, is Hercules. I guess at some point Hercules lost his power. I don't really remember that storyline, but they kind of go into that. That he once lost his power, and that he saw somebody and he was able to get it restored. So they kind of go on a little buddy quest out into the middle of nowhere. And again, there's some really great back and forth with Johnny being a little quippy, and Ben just like not having any of it. And meanwhile, like Hercules is just off in right field. Each of these characters feels like that character. How I would imagine that character would sound. This is it. And I think that's important to how Chip is writing this book. It may not be like this issue. It may not be serious, but the characters are there and I care about them, and it's a fun book. So they go and they meet Dr. Cole, who I didn't know. I'm glad they put this little blurb here. This is the woman that Ben talked to outside of the fundraiser in the first issue, before being interrupted by Spider-Man. So she apparently is able to, she studies empyreology, which is the study of powered biology. But she's able to find kind of what gives somebody powers or doesn't, and is able to restore them. And that's pretty much the gist of it. Like she said, when Hercules lost his power, he said, like, the power was in me all along. And she says, well, not quite. You're not replenished. You do not have replenishing God power within you. Your biology includes a conduit linked to a source of the power. And so what happened was that that conduit was broken. Again, the conduit from the first page, that conduit was broken, and therefore he lost his powers. She restored the conduit, therefore he got his powers back. So in doing that, she's like, look, I'll help you. I'll get you, I'll get the Human Torch's power back, but it's going to cost you $250,000 to $750,000. And of course, they're poor superheroes, so they're out of luck. So she's finishing up with her her previous client, who happened to be Hydro Man. Which, Hydro Man I always thought was a Spider-Man villain. I just remember from the Spider-Man cartoon, like he kind of ushered in the Clone Saga, back in the day. But anyway, he thinks it's a trap, and they're kind of going into this this fight scene, which, again, the art in it's not as deep as Jim Chung, but the lighter tone of the art fits the lighter tone of the book, and I like that. So Hydro Man's trying to drown Thing, and I kind of like this. To prevent Thing from being drowned, Human Torch just pretty much like encases his head in fire and evaporates the water. And it's like, hey, quick thinking, right? So, then, again, Hercules is being Hercules. Finally, the doctor steps in. She has like a synthetic hand that's made of some alien tech that can allow her to, allow it to like shapeshift and this and that. So he finally calms down. She stops Hydro Man from, doing any more damage, and she tells him to leave, and she goes, he's like, sure, I'll run across these jokers again eventually anyway. And she's like, front doors for the good guests. You've been bad, so... And she points to the toilet, and he said, water's water, at least I got my power back. So I saw that, and I actually chuckled. I was like, yeah, she's making him leave out the toilet. But that was pretty good. So, again, this is these two panels were the two that I was like, man, Johnny's face is just pretty much bleh. So they're trying to guilt her into pretty much forgoing the financing, saying like, look, we're heroes, we save people. And she's like, you know, the only reason you guys come to me is to restore your powers. If you weren't, so addicted to being like better than everyone, you wouldn't need me. She's like, and the fact is that I'm better than everyone. I am better than everyone, and I'm worth the price. So they're kind of like, well, we don't have any money. So he shows her the multi-seconds like, look, we have to get to our friends. It's not about like saving people. Our friends are stuck in the multiverse, and this is going to help us find it. So she says, okay, I'll tell you what's wrong with you, but you have to take me with you. And I think that's going to lead to kind of a fun combination between these four, like road tripping throughout the multiverse. But then you get this one classic mom bod, just lounging around. But the explanation of why Johnny is losing his power, and not only Johnny, but Ben as well, is that the Fantastic Four's conduit is each other. They have to be around each other to be able to use their powers, or at least in the same universe. And as long as they're in the same universe, they're fine. But if they're separated for too long, their powers start to diminish. So here you see Johnny's already at 73%. Ben is already at 81% of his full power. So it's kind of, getting dire for them now to start to find Reed and Sue. There's some more good stuff with Doom. Again, I love the way Chip's writing Doom makes me feel, again, like Doom is actually Doom, not what Bendis is writing in Invincible Iron Man. But again, pick this series up. It's very good. Highly recommend it. Move the needle. Make books like this make them take the shelves over, not lesser, crappier stories. This is good. Read it. Subscribe over here. Watch some more videos. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time.